Welcome back to ESBR Boxing's YouTube channel. It's me, Niall, here giving a reaction to the huge news that broke this morning that Paddy Donovan and Lewis Crocker will rematch. Their hotly anticipated rematch following on from their controversial first fight will take place on September 13th at Windsor Park, Belfast. And yeah, the biggest prize of them all on the line, the IBF welterweight world title on the line in this one. So yeah, as an Irishman, an all-Irish world title fight on Irish shores, I never thought I'd see the day. It's an incredible night, incredible achievement for Irish boxing, and a hotly anticipated rematch between these two, as I say, from the last encounter in which Paddy Donovan won, Lewis Crocker won after Paddy Donovan was disqualified by the referee. Of course, very controversial circumstances, but yeah, they're getting it on again. I'm going to give my thoughts on how I think the fight will go. Compared to the first fight, who can make the more adjustments and who will walk away as the new world champion on September 13th. So yeah, before we get into things, don't forget, drop a like on the video first of all if you enjoy the content. We'd really appreciate it. And if you're not doing so already, please subscribe to our YouTube channel at ESBR Boxing. So yeah, Donovan Crocker 2, September 13th, Windsor Park, IBF World Title fight, and I can't wait for this one already. It was known that this was going to be for the world title when it was confirmed by Eddie Hearn that Jerron Ennis has, the former champion, has moved up officially to 154 pounds. The consensus best welterweight in the world after that win against Edmantas Stanionis has moved up, vacating his IBF title and leaving the next best challengers to challenge for the vacant belt. So yeah. The first fight, of course, happened the SSE, DSSA Arena back in March, Belfast. Outstanding performance from Paddy Donovan. That's no more needs to be said in that regard. He widely outboxed Lewis Crocker from the opening bell. In that one, he was just way too elusive, too quick, too smooth of feet, too sharp of hands, and Crocker just he made Crocker look incredibly one-dimensional in that, high coming forward, high guard, very one paced and one dimensional. As I say, not as versatile as Paddy Donovan is, but yeah, Paddy Donovan was widely ahead in terms of outboxing Crocker, but of course it all unravelled when he began to get points deductions for using the head, according to the referee. It was an egregious use of the head that caused a couple of points deductions. It was controversial. That got a lot of people talking. I personally didn't think that it was massively outrageous, the use of the head. There was heads coming together, but I don't think Paddy Donovan purposely went out of his way to use the head on Crocker. Cuts were opening up on the face of Crocker, but it was proven that most of them were caused by punches. So yeah, it's it was harsh to deduct the points when the referee did, in my opinion. I thought Crocker did make a meal of it. I thought he over exaggerated the use of the head from Paddy Donovan. But it is what it is. The referee made his call to take the points off. And in the end of the fight, there can be no arguments there. It was a very late shot after the bell from Donovan. And with the points already being taken off, the DQ was the only option for the referee. As unfortunate as it was for Paddy Donovan, that was not that was after the bell by a good bit. He got carried away and he paid the price. We seen how emotional it made Paddy Donovan when he was DQ'd. But he partially has himself to blame. I thought the original points deductions, as I say, were harsh. But you can't hit that late after the bell and expect to still get away with it. So yeah. DQ, there was a fiery build-up between both men, and there was a fiery aftermath in terms of the reaction from fighters and the corners. Billy Nelson and Andy Lee very kind of vocal about the performances of the fighters, the performances of the officials. And yeah, I'm just delighted that we get to see this fight again now, straight away. The immediate rematch. I think it makes sense, although, stylistically, it was an easy night for Paddy Donovan. It will be interesting to see, can Lewis Crocker make the adjustments that he couldn't make in the first fight. He looked lost at times. He does have a one-dimensional style in terms of, he's aggressive. He's come forward, that high guard, and he's a big puncher. But against Paddy Donovan, who can just do it all. He's so versatile, he's so slick, so well skilled. He made it look easy, so Crocker needs to make adjustments in the fight. You know, put it on him quicker. Show Paddy Donovan no respect. Get on him, get us back to the ropes and work away. Get him into corners, dig to the body. Body work I think for Crocker is going to be key in this one. I just don't think. I think the first fight was so wide. I don't think that there are adjustments that Lewis Crocker can make. I really don't. I think his style, even against Conor Walker, where he didn't look great, he was fortunate to get a decision in that one. His style can be exposed at times as just a bit of a brawler. So yeah, I don't think that Lewis Crocker can make the adjustments as exciting as he is. You need a lot more to your arsenal to beat Paddy Donovan, and I think Paddy Donovan is going to have even an easier night, to be quite honest with you. And I think keeping his head this time, keeping his cool, I think he should win a wide points decision, even though it's in Windsor Park. It's going to be a red hot atmosphere, mostly Lewis Crocker fans. So yeah, it's going to be a red hot, sometimes vitriolic atmosphere, possibly in Windsor Park, open air stadium. It's going to be a great occasion. Crocker's going to have the majority of the fans like he did in Belfast the last time. And Donovan needs to kind of make it wide, but I think he has the ability, I'd have full faith in him being able to make it wide enough for, judges or officials not to kind of um not to take anything away from him when he does earn a victory. So yeah, I'd be very shocked if Lewis Crocker and Billy Nelson were able to kind of mastermind the game plan so drastic from the last time that they were able to knock off Paddy Donovan here. So yeah, I'm going for a Paddy Donovan points win to become the new IBF welterweight world champion. And there's there's an argument to be made that the winner of this fight, I think it'll be Donovan. Could be the best welterweight in the world. Style wise, he's a brilliant boxer. But then you look at the division, as I said, Ennis moving up to vacate this belt. Stanionis coming off a wide defeat to Ennis, although there's no shame in that. Brian Norman Jr. fighting Devin Haney, they're battling for the number one spot coming up in November. And then I would love to see the winner of that fight Paddy Donovan in a unification for the WBO and the IBF titles. So hopefully that can happen because that would prove who the top dog at 147 pounds is. And you've got Mario Barrios with an incredibly frustrating performance last weekend against Manny Pacquiao, and Barrios against Donovan, Barrios against Haney or Norman wouldn't even be close. So, yeah, I'm buzzing. The future's bright for Irish boxing. That was my reaction to the news that an All Irish World Title fight will be taking place on September 13th in Windsor Park, Belfast, as Lewis Crocker and Paddy Donovan have their eagerly anticipated rematch in an open air stadium, Belfast again, and this time the big one, the big prize, the IBF welterweight world title on the line. So yeah, let us know what you think in the comments. Get involved down below. You're buzzing for this one. How do you see this going differently to the first time, apart from obviously the DQ? Can Crocker make adjustments? They'll need to be drastic, but can Billy Nelson mastermind something magical for Lewis Crocker, or will it be an easy night for Paddy Donovan? Let us know what you think. And as always, don't forget, as I said at the start of the video, please drop a like on the video first of all. And if you're not doing so already, subscribe to our YouTube channel at ESBR Boxing. Until next time, take care.